What is up, guys? We're back at it again with another video, and my God, still very shocked by the results, but happy as well. Now, we're going to talk specifically about why didn't Nick Walker win the 2023 Arnold Classic, and a lot of people had him winning. Podcasters, people on Instagram, they had Nick as a heavy favorite to take the show easy. It was his show to lose, or his show to win, but he placed second. Well, what happened? We'll talk a little bit about it in regards to the fact that he is the number three bodybuilder in the world, placing third the Arnold Classic. The closest guy next to him was actually Big Ramy, placing fifth, and then Samson placing sixth, and then Andrew placing eighth. So to have Big Ramy alone overcome his flaws of having the dents in the quads and the lumps in the glutes and the lacking triceps and receding back, there's no way he would have fixed these problems in time to overcome Nick. And I don't think anyone really thought that Samson would have created that much of a gap, or I guess shortened the gap between them in just 8 weeks to overcome the third best bodybuilder in the world when he just placed outside the top five at the Olympia just 10 weeks ago. I mean, it is a very incredible and shocking placement, but I think it was deserved. I really do think it was deserved. Now, why didn't Nick Walker win this show? Honestly, for me, I think it was a combination of the fact that Samson brought it. Andrew, although he didn't beat Nick, Andrew also brought it. There was guys in the lineup who brought it just as much as he brought it. He came in better, probably more conditioned, not as full. I mean, I would say he's definitely leaner, sacrificing some fullness to play maybe the conditioning game, maybe do I say aesthetic symmetry game a little bit? But that's not his strength. Nick Walker is not an aesthetic guy. He's not a symmetry guy. He's just hard, dry, insane muscle. Now, you can see that his lower half, I mean, his legs just went. His quads specifically. From the side, they're fine. From the rear, they're incredible. From the front, so what do we have from the front? We have the front delt bicep, the front lat spread, ab and thighs, and the variations of the most muscular. So you have about 4 or 5 poses, all of them displaying the quads from the front. That's more than half of all the poses collectively when it comes to showcasing your physique on the bodybuilding stage. So this one weak part, which is your quads, the shape, the sweep of the quad specifically, it's exposed in all of these poses. And what makes it worse is that he's next to some of the greatest quads in the IFBB with Andrew Jack, Samson Dauda, and Big Ramy. Some of the best quads in the game. So not only is his quads losing fullness, losing, glycogen, maybe he did a little bit too much cardio, been prepping for, 5 months, maybe 6 months at this point from his Olympia prep going into the Arnold. Doing all the cardio, burning the muscle off. He's the youngest of the pack here. So the muscle for him compared to everyone else, like his body has not been around long enough to achieve that muscle maturity for the muscle to stick. Although he might have been training longer than the rest of the guys, mainly Samson and Andrew, because he started as a teenager. But, the fact that the age, maybe that's a factor to where his muscle just didn't hold during the remainder of the prep when it comes to the Arnold specifically. I don't know. I'm kind of nitpicking here when it comes to reasons, but I can see that they went with more flow. They went with symmetry. They went with proportions. They went with balance. They went with just good enough conditioning. It wasn't lights out crazy, oh my God, conditioning. It was good conditioning on Samson. And Nick did bring the hard factor, the conditioning factor, and Nick is always big. Nick is never going to be small, but there's one body part that looks like he had to shrink and suck down in order to bring in another level of conditioning, actually hurt him. It's kind of similar in the sense of a guy who is known for conditioning. Let's say a Sean Clarita, he's a conditioning guy. Why would you pay? Why would you play the fullness game, the hardness game? You are a conditioning guy. Derek Lunsford. If Derek came in bigger and fuller, sacrificing his trademark conditioning, although he's a bigger, massive body, it might not come off as a better package on stage. So you always want to play to your strengths on the bodybuilding stage. Samson, Andrew, they know they're athletic guys. They know they have flow. They know they have balance. They know they have symmetry. They just got to focus on bringing that and presenting that and posing that very, very well. Nick is a mass monster. Hard, granite hard, grainy, just big, full. That's his game. That's how he wins. That's how he has gone from debuting top five to now being third in the world his second year doing the Olympia. So I think the quads and overall just the lack of that fullness he had, um, compared to the Olympia, it was unfortunately enough for someone like Samson to overtake him. So just my opinion in regards to what I think, and you can actually look at the photos and you can see what I'm talking about specifically. Just look at Andrew Jack's legs and then look at Nick's. Then look at Samson Dowda's legs, quads specifically, and then look at Nick's. It's not that Nick doesn't have quads. He obviously does, but compared to the other guys, he's just not on their level. Maybe everywhere else. I mean, that side leg is nothing, and I mean nothing to laugh at. That was an incredible side leg. But compare Nick to Samson. Nick has the hamstrings. I'll give Samson the quads. Nick has the conditioning, but I'll give Samson the chest. Um, Shoulders and arms are comparable, I would say. If you're looking at this specific pose, like you really got to go overall. You can't just go body part to body part. Just how does body flow overall? How does everything look? Wow, Big Ramy looks really awkward here. That's a very, very awkward shot of Big Ramy. But you got to go with how the entire body looks, man. How does the top, bottom, left, right? How does the muscles flow? How do they insert? Everything, the total package. Nick is someone that has asymmetry in his arms. His arms are not perfectly symmetrical. You can tell that the left one is almost an inch bigger than the right. It's very, very noticeable. Nick's quads are very, very down in size. In fact, I don't know if I really don't know how that can happen. I mean, it's just 8-10 weeks ago he had way better legs and they just disappeared. At least from the front, the side was perfect, the back was perfect, no issues there. It's just literally the front and those 4 poses that came with those front shots. So what do you guys think down below when it comes to Nick and why did he not do better? Now, second in the world, or second at the Arnold Classic, which second in the world, he's third in the world, second at the Arnold, you know what I mean? It's an incredible achievement. It is absolutely incredible, but obviously coming off of a third place victory at the Olympia, you would hope to keep that momentum going and be the guy that continues to win every other show that is not the Olympia, and that didn't happen for him, and he actually settled for second here. So I know it might feel like a disappointment, but probably some needed motivation for him to work even harder. Yeah, I know Samson's motivated for sure. I know Andrew is right there knocking on the door, and Nick, of course, is already in top 5 of the Olympia, so he's in a very good spot. Anyways, guys, quick video. Hope you enjoy the video. Like, share, comment down below. If you're not subscribed, make it a thing. Sub to the boy, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.